So I'm making this after the video and after speaking to the company that sent me, the knife in the video. I talked to them, I sent them multiple pictures of all the issues that were wrong with the knife. So I wanna, explain a little bit more in detail that I get a little hot-headed, I get a bad attitude with how poorly the knife was made, and I address the company in a professional manner as best as I can, and they responded very appropriately to it. They said that they would be taking the measures and doing whatever they need to do to prevent these issues from happening again. There were issues like a lot of scratches and gouges all over the steel components as well as the titanium components. The heavy branding all over the place, the fact that there's a D-shaped pivot barrel but no holes to correspond to trap the D-shaped pivot. They're working with all different quality of depth hardware all across the body, from the clip, the body screws, and the pivot, as well as warped titanium scales. I have never seen this before. That's how bad this thing is. And they sent this to me for free. So this just goes to show that just because knife companies send stuff for free to people doesn't mean that they're shills. It doesn't mean that they're being bought. I go and I spend the next however long talking a lot of bad about this knife you see right here. And I told them just straight up what I think about it, things that they can do to improve, and that they really got a lot to work on if they want to continue doing stuff and putting stuff into the current market. So with that being said, they said they're going to take the steps moving forward to improve on all the issues. And I just wanted to mention this before you guys see the video, just to give a little bit more context. I was a little hesitant on posting this video only because there is more aggression than is honestly needed, but it's still, content is content, and you guys need to see a reaction of somebody who is not only a user, but a collector, and overall just an enthusiast, just like, you that are watching this video. So hopefully you enjoy the video and get some information out of it. If you're new to this hobby, these are things to look at, especially because if you think about it, I've handled a good wide variety of stuff from all different manufacturers from all over the world, and I know what quality is, or at least what to look for when it comes to quality at certain price points. And so the price is right on this model, but the quality isn't there. So if you're new to the hobby and you want to know if your knife is of good quality and you're willing to take it apart and look at the internals and see, like, is this thing actually built well, I do a separate video as well. I do a disassembly, and that's where you get to see all the really bad stuff. But go ahead and check that video out. It'll be posted at a later date, so subscribe if you haven't, and turn on your notification bells so you'll be updated on when that video is posted. It'll probably be the day right after you see this. But as well as I do a sharpening, and since then, I've tuned it, I've been using it, I sharpened it a good bit, and I've been using it, and it functions perfectly fine as a knife. It's just they're trying to fit into this category to please knife enthusiasts types of people, and this would set a lot of people off the deep end, as it did to me. So again, just want to clear that kind of stuff up. Again, this was sent to me for free. They're not paying me to say anything good about it. I'm only putting this video out there because I already made the video, I already made the unboxing, I already did the disassembly, and it's time of mine that is already spent. I don't want to call it wasted, but it's already spent, so might as well utilize it, but just give some better meaning and context that this company does seem like they have a good customer service system, and they want to know what the people want. So they're pretty quick to respond to, which I'm very happy about, and I can't say the same about a lot of other up-and-coming companies. So it's really impressive how they did respond to me. Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share with you guys something that was actually sent in to the channel by a new company. So it's very rare, and I think this is probably the first time that I didn't have to reach out to a company, but they came to me. may or may not be a good thing, and I've seen this being shown off, at least this brand, by a handful of other people in the community. There are things that I like, there are things that I don't quite like about it. The packaging knife is going to be this beautiful boy right here, or girl, however you want to call it. It's an Arcform Theory that I did some heavily modifying to. Love this thing. I gave it kind of a rough review, but I mean, it's still in the collection, so that just shows how, you know, how good of a knife it actually is. So there's a little note there. I'm gonna check out what that is just to make sure it doesn't have any important information. And just order details. So this is from HX Outdoors. And this little model is a tad bit confusing. When they reached out to me, they were just like, hey, I love your content on YouTube and Instagram. Would you like to be one of our sponsors? Or would you like us to sponsor whatever, be one of our, you know, just part of the team, essentially. And I was just like, yeah, sure, thanks for this opportunity, but I want to be completely transparent with you guys that I want to give my full, like, real impressions about this thing. Like, I'm not just going to be a bot voice. And again, wanting to be transparent with you guys, my lovely audience, that this was sent to me for free, but I'm going to treat this as if I spent my hard-earned money on this. So if this is going to be worth buying, like if they gave this to me and I gave it away, or I lost it or something like that, would I go out and buy it again? Let's check it out. All right, nice little padded case. You don't see this presentation all too often, especially in this price category. And I will link down everything I can, because I don't have my laptop on right now. I think it's actually turned off or dead potentially. But this is, I believe, well under $50. And what you are receiving here is a nice little microfiber cloth. It has printed there, HX Outdoor. And then here you have just a little stamped out piece of cardstock, I suppose, with a little thing you can scan. Check out their Instagram as well. Here this thing is. Let's go ahead and check it out. Oily. This is very, very, very oily. Jesus. Let's you know, let's use that little cloth. Now I get the point of oiling a knife as it's, you know, being transported from overseas, but I feel like they go a little crazy on it, honestly. All right, so this knife and the model itself is a little confusing because there are a couple different variations of this. There's a locking and then a non-locking variation of it. The locking variation, the liner lock, costs a lot more. I think it's closer to $55, but what you're getting here on paper sounds pretty freaking cool. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. Just want to take a look at it real quick. Before I do, sorry for just give me 1 second. Just want to look over this thing. There are a couple little marks and scuffs here on the titanium, and they gotta put it on there just to make sure that you know what you're handling, a titanium alloy. I think that's a little a little gimmicky that they have to do that. Put it on the actual scale itself. It could have been on the inside if they really had to do that. That is immediately one thing I do not like, because it's just not necessary. The finishing of the scales are not the greatest. There is some scuffing right there, and as you saw, I mean, I pulled it out of the box. I didn't drop it or sling it across a freaking parking lot or nothing. As well as up here, there's just this this heavy pitting. Gotta catch it in the right light. It's a lot easier to see in person, I promise. I'm doing the best that I can over camera just to show that there is just some odd pitting that comes from just poor machining, honestly. It almost looks like there's a satin finish on this side because I could see lines going horizontally. And yeah, just the bead blast that was applied to this was very poorly done. I'm not happy about that at all, but that's just being real with you guys. Let's let's go ahead and flip this out. It has some jimping there, nothing crazy. Really light, really light, and stick on that lock there. Yeah, the detent on this is extremely light and somehow sluggish and tight at the same time. It doesn't make much sense. And there's blade plays side to side. That's just awesome. Love that. Up and down. If I wrench on it, I can feel it. Ooh. Yeah, the detent is horrendously light. You do have some texture on the steel right here, on the steel liner, and it's only on the one side, so it's nice that there is a sense of weight relieving. I was just looking at it before I opened it, but the blade looks to be definitely favoring the clip side. You cannot move that clip to the other side, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this thing apart, tune it up and whatever, see what I can actually do with it. This is running on bearings, but this is horrible feeling. This feels just awful. Yeah, I'm not happy or impressed at all with this. This is freaking terrible. The blade shape is cool. I will say that, you know, it has enough character and design to it. Pinching it here, it feels a little snug. I have extra large size hands, but slim fingers, so it's very rare that you'll ever hear me complain about ergonomics. But being in this little space right here, this little pinch space, it's okay. It's all right. I would much rather be resting there. This feels a lot nicer, that's for sure. But back here, it's very reminiscent of a Spyderco Para 3. You know how it has the big hump, and it kind of like keeps your thumb like way back over here. That's what the pinch feels like. It's just a lot smaller. I don't have a Para 3 or PM2, for example, anymore, because I just don't really care to have that model on the channel or in the collection, but that's just kind of what it reminds me of. But if I rest up here with my thumb out, this actually feels pretty good. This is a small knife, very small, compact knife. I do like the blade shape. The branding, I don't necessarily care for it. HX Outdoors with this moose or elk with some characters on the body, laser etched. D2 blade material, which not the greatest when it's uncoated, so I'm gonna have to be careful while carrying this thing. The model name is the TD15T. I hope that they actually start putting names to their models, because that's gonna be a little confusing. Not the biggest fan of brands, companies that do that. Like ZT. I don't have any ZT knives on the channel because there really aren't any out there that really interest me, but in the overseas game, you have companies like Tucson, for example. 99% of their models have, you know, numbers or a sequence of numbers for the name, because they just produce so many freaking designs. But some of them do have their own names. And here you have, you know, more laser etching with some characters there. All right. Yeah, I gotta take this thing apart and tune it, but that'll be for later. Not everybody cares to see the internals, but I still try to make content for the people that do care to see the internals and how this thing is machined. Seeing and experiencing what I'm sharing with you guys now, I'm expecting the internals to be terrible. So let's go ahead and use, here's another numbered variation of a knife. This is a Free Tiger model FT2103. The only reason why it's used as a size comparison knife is because of its value and everything that it delivers for the price, for around 35 bucks. This is a very standard size, very common to a Benchmade bug out if that's something that you guys have in your collection or have handled in the past. You could see that this guy right here is just a little bit shorter overall. Right above here we have the Civivi Vision FG. You can see that this is significantly longer, definitely. I still have those washers on that Vision FG, and they're breaking in beautifully. I got nothing against bearings, I prefer washers, that's it. Here's a sweet little knife that finds its way into the pocket quite a bit with some modifications. This is the Kaiser Coniferous V. Did a flipper tab delete and a finger choil mod there. But it's close. The Coniferous V is definitely a little bit longer overall. This will be receiving a review eventually sometime this week. You guys will see it. Not a lot of good to say about this, and I'm very disappointed. But this is the Megaron Knives Mojarl. This is the latest and greatest variation of the Mojarl, but it is the same exact length as the other variations as far as I know. So that's how it stacks up to some common knives, I suppose. Let's see another one. Here's a Pyrite Light by CJRB. Pyrite Light is a hair bit longer overall from tip to tail, not by much. Spyderco Native 5 is shorter than everything I freaking show off, basically, but yeah, that's just a share. Let's check out the weight and we'll test the factory edge. Based off of everything I'm seeing so far, I do not have high hopes for the factory edge. And some people may ask, like, dude, why are you being such a dick? This is, this is a relatively new company. You're harshing on them way too much for the price. I am only doing that just because I know what's out there. And I know that better could be made with a little bit more effort and pressure from the consumer. I'm a consumer just like you guys. And I want to put pressure on companies to put out and put their best foot forward every goddamn day. But this is just a little bit different. 3.7. So I mean, this company's new to the budget game. They're clearly trying to sit in that interesting little space, that little gray area where you have budget construction and blade material, but then a premium handle, or at least the marketing will suggest that this is a step above G10 and micarta and laminated carbon fiber and stuff like that. I will say that just because it is a titanium alloy doesn't earn its spot there, because sure, it's titanium alloy, but if it's executed like shit, then it's just shit titanium alloy. Let's test the factory edge on this. Not bad. It feels like a coarse working edge. You can hear how loud and aggressive it is. And there is a definite fuzz to that edge. So a little bit more attention to detail could be nice. You could see that there is a lot of bite, like a lot of bite to this. It's just not as refined as what you would receive with a company like Kaiser or Civivi or Sencut, for example. Knives that brands that produce a lot of stuff within this price range. CJRB, even stuff from Tenable as well. It's a subsidiary company of Concept Knives. But that is pretty much it on this for now. There are a couple things that I do like about it, and on paper this thing sounds great. For what you're getting here, the D2 and the titanium alloy at the liner lock and the pocket clip. Let's throw that in the pocket. That may be an aluminum backspacer. Not huge on them using 3 different types of material for the overall construction. That could be steel. That very well could be a steel backspacer, but you see the tone in color. I've mentioned in the past that you can tell the difference between titanium and steel components or aluminum components. It's really hard to get things to color match, especially because of the tone of the material that you're working with in its raw state. Aluminum looks very white, and when a bead blast is applied, it almost has hues of blue in a way. And then titanium, it's just gray. It's just bland and gray, and you can put a high finished bead blast on it, and it still won't look like aluminum would with the same finish applied. And the steel liner there, I mean, it looks very close to the tone of the steel liner color. I'm just not a fan of how that's there. I think, and this is just me, but the way that I would save some money, or at least pull pull away from here and put it towards over here, kind of thinking about it that way, it's cool that there is a backspacer of any kind on this design at this price point, but I would have actually dropped the backspacer. That's machining time and material cost. I would have dropped those things, put two simple little standoffs, and just put a little bit more care and attention to the titanium scales itself and the delivery of it as overall. Another thing too that I'm just not a huge fan of is that look at the milling on this. You can see how inconsistent it is. And the more and more time I spend looking at this, you can see the depth of the milling. That's just, it just kills it for me, man. It really does. And if this company sees it and says, hey, you're a jackass, I don't want to work with you anymore, so be it. I don't want to show off, you know, junk knives. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with somebody, but I have what I would consider to be reasonable standards, and I know you guys have very similar standards to mine as well. For the price, there are better things out there that do exist by better established companies. So hey, you know, XH Gear one day could be something like Remet, to where in a span of 3 years or so, they can go from a no-name little budget nonsense Amazon brand to now being a very well-known name in the overseas production game. So hey, I mean, I'm giving them a shot. I'm seeing what they can do. But for my first impressions, no bueno. This is not good. I'm not happy with this. For its price, yeah, cool, it was sent to me for free, but I'm just being honest. I don't really have a whole lot of good to say about it. I like the effort that was put in for the actual relief cut. I like how that's carved away, so there's a lot of access. It's nice and softened everywhere, and the machining that's done for some texture and traction to disengage that liner lock. I like that. I really do like that. That's something I wish bigger established brands would implement more, because I definitely do like those little teeth. They're not sharp, and it just offer just enough traction to, you know, complete the task essentially. The jimping on this little tab, you literally have this tiny little dinky tab that is, you know, higher position than the pivot, but it is low profile. I do enjoy that it does hide away in the shape and silhouette of the handle, because if you guys have been long-time viewers of the channel, you guys know I don't really care for flipper deployment blades, because visually speaking, I think it really just does detract. But my favorite thing, and something that seems to be kind of hard to execute, is a flipper tab that disappears, you know, without something like the spring-loaded tab or things like that from higher production companies like Remet, for example, the SLT. That thing, which I haven't handled anything with an SLT before, but that's obviously in a completely different price category right there. This is around the $50 price point, and a slip joint version of this does exist. I'm very happy that they did not send that to me, because I thought that's what they were going to send to me, but the listing is very confusing. If you go to XH Gears or HX Gears official website, they don't really match up with their shop on Amazon. Things just don't really make any sense. And there are a lot of bigger, more influential people in the community that have shown off this brand and this exact same model within the last couple weeks. I don't really hear anybody saying bad stuff about it, but again, this company is reaching out to a lot of people and, you know, sending this out, and even to somebody like me, which I have a small channel, I'm growing steadily, but the viewers that I have, the subscriber count that I have, I've earned that over almost 4 years now. So it's slow. It's real slow growing, that's for sure, but it's because the people that watch me actually care about what I have to say about stuff, because I'm harsh, I'm realistic. I don't get every damn thing sent to me for free, and I give real honest reviews. So, and this is just an unboxing. You know, I can tune this thing up, sharpen it up, carry it for a little while, and I can come back in 2 weeks and say, this is the best freaking thing that you can buy for, you know, set price point. But this is just honest unboxing. that I think everybody deserves to be able to see, because as a consumer myself, I know you guys would want to see what a reviewer would think. You know, everybody thinks that all reviewers get stuff sent to them for free. That is most definitely not the case, that's for sure. A lot of people are very easily bought, which kind of sucks, but not me, definitely not me. And as you can see here, there are a lot of things that I picked out immediately, just within, you know, a span of 20 minutes and some change, that I am already not enjoying. But this is very early production model from this company. They could get a lot better and a lot bigger, and I could be shooting myself in the foot by saying the stuff that I am about them, but I don't care. I'd rather show off stuff that I would actually want to buy. Like I said, if I lost this today, would I go out and buy it again? And that is to be determined later on. As of right now, probably not. But yeah, I'll do a disassembly and sharpening for anybody who cares to see that kind of stuff. I know not everybody cares to see that right away, but I think I'm gonna have a decent time sharpening. The execution of the sharpening choil and, you know, finger space here and the plunge grind, it's good. I think it's good. I'll be able to slim it down quite a bit and get the max performance out of this blade. It's not super thin. It is kind of robust out to the tip, so this is something that it can handle day-to-day tasks, absolutely. But that is it for now. If you guys found this video enjoyable or educational in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed already, go ahead and thank you if you have been subscribed already. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.